Hello, Fantasy Alarm, FA Nation. It's week one.
Hey, can't wait.
I'm here with Mr. Howard Bender. How are you?
I'm doing really, really well. I've been up since 4 a.m. my time here on the West Coast, getting all sorts of ready for an amazing, amazing football Sunday here. How about you?
Yes. Oh, same kind of deal. Except for instead of 4, it was like 6. So I guess that's 3 your time.
It's not a contest.
No. But it still is later for me / earlier for you. But it's so fun that we get to work on different sides of the country, Howard. 15
and
years
yet be
ago,
here together.
I know. It's like this is modern living, you guys. Also modern living. Your lineups need to get set. And that's what we're here for, you guys. We are starting this season. It's going to be awesome. By the way, you can today go to Fantasy Alarm right now and you can get all of our coverage, which, by the way, the DFS playbook is delicious. Howard Bender always works on it and he does such a great job. And what he does is that he puts together like the best plays of the week at every single position. So you can just mix and match, put together the goodies. And if you go to fantasyalarm.com/get playbook, you can get it for all $75. That is it for the whole season. Everything that you need. I'm telling you guys, everything you need is on Fantasy Alarm. It's beautiful. The tools, everything. But we're going to get to your questions right away because we have so much to do. And we got a hello from David Stallman, from Justin Marquez. We got Anna Ramo. We got the pack is back from Martin T. Wilkes. Yes, everyone. So go ahead. What time are you going live? Right now, Colin. Hi, Colin. We got Carlos Lopez saying hi. What is up, everybody? I would like all your little comments. We are live on YouTube, on Facebook Live, on Twitter /Periscope, and we are live on fantasyalarm.com itself. So go ahead, ask your questions. We're going to get to them as soon as possible, as many as possible. First question. Who is Wilkes? Amari Cooper or Jordan Howard, full point PPR?
Amari Cooper or Jordan? I've got to go Jordan Howard. Rams secondary isn't what it was last year, but you got to go with the guys who are going to touch the ball the most. The Bears are, yes, it's Matt Nagy now taking over there as the offensive coordinator. He is not a guy who likes to abandon the run. And I don't care if Green Bay maybe takes a little bit of a lead. Nagy knows that you got to get Jordan Howard the ball enough times there to make it happen. That's what you guys have to do as fantasy owners. Got to go with the guy who's going to touch the ball the most.
Agreed. And so I think that this is a conversation also about the concept of dance with the one who brought you, which I kind of alluded to last night when I was tweeting about the show. So for me, my problem is these are both good players. So this is a valid conversation, except for, is Amari Cooper still the one stud enough to dance with the one who brought you against the Los Angeles Rams as an opener, which, by the way, has one of the best secondaries in the National Football League in prime time on the offense that has just been blown up by Gruden and over the season. I feel like, to me, Jordan Howard has proven himself to be a steady fantasy option more than Amari Cooper. So I'm sticking with him because it's week one and we just don't have a lot of data. How do you approach week one when it comes to starting your studs, Howard?
Well, I usually just start my studs. Amari Cooper, though, I got to be honest, is not, to me, a stud. I think people overdrafted him. He had a lot of issues last year. We have seen Gruden have issues with the Raiders this season right now. You know where I'm looking? You know what I look at? The 4-point spread that I saw for the game, to me, seemed a little low, and that always kind of makes you nervous because then you wonder, really, what does Vegas know that we don't know? But the bottom line is that when you take a guy like Amari Cooper, you know who I look at Amari Cooper right now like I look at Kenny Stills.
Yep.
Like, here's a team that will play from behind. Maybe he gets that boomer bust deep bomb, but it's not something that you can rely on. Maybe, if you want to throw it into a GPP tournament lineup, okay, fine. But as far as like a cash game play or like a surefire play, he's not a guy who I like right now.
Yeah. And also I would say this, this is week one. We're going to learn so much. And we said this on the other live streams, but if you're just joining us today for week one, welcome, by the way. We are happy to have you. But I do want to repeat, we know very little this year, especially because almost everyone sat their starters in the preseason. We saw so few actual starters out there. Some teams never even saw their starting quarterback or their starting wide receiver or running back or whatever. So this is going to be very interesting. One of the other things we're going to get to your questions here too is weather. Last night it was reported that Pittsburgh and Cleveland, it was going to be like a tsunami and everyone pulled all those players. Now it's looking like it's not that bad. And actually every place kind of has some rain. I'm going to go through this real quick. We got the Bills at the Ravens. Rain, 15 mile per hour winds. We got rain as well for the Jags at the Giants. Dome for the Saints and the Bucks, obviously. 60s, 12 mile per hour wind. Texans at Patriots. It looks like dome, obviously, for Vikings, San Francisco. We got, here's the one that I don't like, the Titans at the Dolphins. It is raining and 90 degrees. Very humid in Miami. I don't know. We're going to see here. And then Bengals at Colts, obviously, in the dome. And 60s, rain, 16 mile per hour winds for Steelers, Browns. But it's not like that's a huge difference between all the other teams that I just talked about. Also, 88 raining for Cowboys at Panthers. Everyone else is either great weather or dome. What do you do with weather at this point? Because it's not like we're talking about a blizzard and we're not talking about a hurricane. We're talking about rain.
Right, we're talking about rain, but we are also talking about wind. And that's what's going to affect in Cleveland, the Cleveland-Pittsburgh game. You're going to deal with wind. To me, when there's high winds and a bunch of rain, it favors the ground game. It favors the short passing game. So maybe Antonio Brown doesn't have like big deep passes. Maybe Ben just hits him short. Maybe he hits Juju Smith-Schuster short. Try and go run heavy with James Conner. Same thing when you're looking at Cleveland. Carlos Hyde, Duke Johnson, those guys, David Njoku. Those are the guys who you look to. Even Jarvis Landry. So I'm not all in. Like, yeah, I mean, listen, I love Jarvis Landry, but what I'm saying is like when you're dealing with the weather there, if you've got somebody who's in a better situation weather-wise, then I'll pull back maybe and hedge a little bit. But, I'm not going all-out panic. I've got Derrick Henry in a bunch of GPP contests. And, guys, just so you know, Fantasy Alarm, the example lineups, those will be out right about towards the tail end of this live stream, about an hour before lineup lock, just so you guys know. Again, these optimal lineups, example lineups, these aren't meant for you to just take and throw into your lineups as your own. These are like a last look and a sounding board for what you've done with your own lineup. So create your lineups, then go look at the optimals and learn the process there. Maybe I've got a guy in the playbook you don't like. Maybe you've got a sleeper who you think you have to use. So be sure that you're doing it that way. But in any event, about the rain, Derrick Henry, I like him in this game, rain or no rain. I like running games when it's, when you're talking about bad weather. Alex Collins is a guy who I've been on all week, and I'm not pivoting away from him because there's rain. Mm-hmm. So
no, absolutely not. You said with Alex Collins, that's easy peasy. I do want to say that we're getting a lot of questions, and a lot of people are not stating whether it's PPR or non-PPR or half-point PPR or anything like that. If you do have scoring settings, please include that, and that would be awesome. So we're going to get back to these questions, and I just want to make sure, again, if you have any of those settings, please let me know. Because this one is a toughie, because is it Rex Burkhead or Randall Cobb? And it does not say whether it's PPR or non-PPR. What are your thoughts?
I'd probably go with Burkhead here. I think he's going to get a significant chunk. I don't think Sony Michel's playing. I know everybody and their grandma's on James White, but let's face facts. You're going to see a good amount of Rex Burkhead in this one here. And I think it's a safer play, I think. Randall Cobb, yeah, he's hooked up with Aaron Rodgers, and they've got, experience together. But again, Devontae Adams is the lead receiver there. We want to look and see what happens with Jimmy Graham inside the red zone. Does Geronimo Allison get used heavily to spread the field? You kind of have to wonder, really, how much the Packers are thinking about incorporating Randall Cobb when they were so quick to try and deal him during the offseason. So perhaps maybe instead of dealing with a slot receiver and a heavy target load for him, that they have looked more towards the tight end, that they have looked more towards Jimmy Graham because of the mismatches against small nickel corners. So that's where I'm leaning towards Burkhead.
Agreed. Stills or OBJ? You guys, I know Jalen Ramsey's great, but he did show up on the injury report. Also, stud wide receivers have been able to have decent games like DeAndre Hopkins and Antonio Brown. And in my opinion, that includes Odell Beckham Jr. So I think this is OBJ, but I'd love to hear your thoughts. It's
always OBJ. It's always, even if I don't even care about the rain in Miami right now. I'm talking about starting your studs. I can't remember who it was last year. Who blew up against Xavier Rhodes last year? Like we were sitting, it was in Julio Jones. We were sitting there. Yeah, we were sitting there and we were like, oh my God, Julio Jones against Xavier Rhodes. I got to bench Julio Jones. I got to bench him. And he destroyed Xavier Rhodes. Now, Xavier Rhodes also dealing with a little bit of an injury. I don't know if it's hamstring or groin. He popped up earlier in the week with that.
Later in the week, I think it was on Thursday. Which is worse.
You don't sit Odell Beckham Jr. You don't do it. You didn't draft him in the early second round, late first round to park him on the bench. Stop overthinking it. You don't want to use him in DFS? Fine. Don't use him in DFS. But don't be an idiot and put him on your bench in your seasonal leagues. I don't give a crap if the guy goes 5 catches for 55 yards and that's it. You don't sit him.
I agree. Amari Cooper. Or Jordan Howard. No, we did that one already. We got Amari Cooper, Allen Robinson, or Corey Davis. That was the Cooper one I was going to do. A lot of Amari Cooper questions. You guys, I am worried about Cooper. I just want to say this against the Rams. If you have better options, I really think you should do them. Robinson, we don't know a lot about with Chicago. They're going up against the Packers. That certainly doesn't scare me in any way. But we just don't know a whole lot about him. And then Corey Davis, it's just like, will they need him against the Dolphins? I don't know. In this case, I think if you're down because of the game on Thursday, I would maybe try Cooper, but I think they're going to use Allen Robinson a lot against Green Bay because they have to score points, right?
Yeah, I would probably just play it safe and go Robinson here. He's going to be an active part of this passing game, right. and we do think that they're going to have to play some catch up there. So I like Robinson in this matchup.
Beautiful. Okay, you guys. PPR Flex, Marshawn or Robbie Anderson? Now, the best matchup for the Raiders is for Marshawn Lynch. We're a little concerned about a possible injury there. Robbie Anderson, I mean, they're going to have to throw to keep up with the Lions at the Dome there in Detroit. I actually like both of these plays. I'm a little sad you can't sneak both of them in with a little flex action. But I'd love to hear your thoughts here, Howard. What do you think?
I would probably go with Robbie Anderson. I agree with you. The Jets are going to need to throw. Robbie Anderson's the number one on that team. Sam Darnold is inexperienced, yes, but do the Jets really have that personnel where you have to turn around and say they're only going to run the ball? No. So I look to Robbie Anderson as being the guy who they'll probably try to lean on as much as possible here because they don't have very many other passing options. So, and it's not like, listen, yes, he's going to see Darius Slay, but from everything that I've read, Slay's going to stay on his side. He's not going to shadow Robbie Anderson. So if the Jets start getting nice and creative, they can move Anderson around the field and keep him away from Slay for the most part.
I agree. And I'm going to say this, though. Looks like Marshawn Lynch is going to be fine. He was limited at practice a day ago. But the point is that I think he's also like 32, and he may be limited at practice this whole season. So if that makes you uncomfortable, I would try to put together a little trade action and get to that. All right, I'm going to go over to YouTube a little bit here because I've been concentrating on Periscope. So I'm trying to get to all your questions, you guys. I'm in PPR. Should I play John Ross or Mike Williams as a flex? Now, John Ross is Cincinnati at the Colts. And then for Los Angeles, they're playing at home against Kansas City.
I'm going John Ross. Listen, AJ Green is going to command the definite attention there. He'll probably see a couple of double teams, but I really like this matchup here, especially with Ross's first big game. I know everybody's on Andy Dalton, and I've got, as far as DFS lineups, I've got a lot of Dalton and GPP. I've got AJ Green in cash and GPP.
Yeah, it's all very chalky, though.
Yeah,
all
very
of Cincinnati
chalky.
is chalky. But listen, you can diversify your studs if you do chalk with the cheap guys.
Sure.
All
But
right.
I go John Ross here because I do believe that John Ross will get that big touchdown that everybody wants in their GPP contests.
He looked really good in preseason. Listen, 0 catches and basically a run that went only a couple yards and a fumble for an entire rookie season is terrible, hideous. But you got to let it go, you guys. It's a different year. In FanDuel Cash, would you go DJ or Kamara, and is Connor a lock, or should you pivot off due to weather? Again, we have a whole hour and a half until kickoff. We need to check the weather reports again. I don't think the weather here is the end of the world, and I want to make sure that you guys know that we may not respond in the way that you guys are to weather, because I think the weather freak out was yesterday and everyone's just checking their Twitter in the morning. Am I right, Howard? I mean, I feel like the weather report's now changed.
It really hasn't changed much. I mean, everybody's still in a panic mode. Everybody is still panicking, and when they start seeing rain in Baltimore and in Miami, they're panicking even more. Listen,
same conditions for the Bills-Ravens game. It's the exact same conditions. So if you're freaking out about this, you got to freak out about that too.
But again, if you're talking running backs, though,
who cares?
Will it put the ball in James Conner's hands more? Yeah, probably. We probably see a good amount of Conner, but we don't. This is the thing, and I got into this with somebody who was on the chat on Fantasy Alarm, and he literally said to me, he was like, "Listen, everybody on SiriusXM is telling you that if you don't have James Conner, if James Conner's not in your services lineups tomorrow, and they aren't telling you that you have to start James Conner, then you need a different service." And I was like, really? Because for as far as I know, we don't know James Conner's exact role. We don't know exactly what Pittsburgh is going to do. Will James Conner have a role? Yes, he will. Will Jalen Samuels? Probably. He might see the ball as well. To me, it's like, yes, you can use James Conner, and I am using James Conner, but this is not like the lock of all locks here that James Conner is going to suddenly put up a day like you would expect from Le'Veon Bell. If you think that that James Conner is going to put up a day like Le'Veon Bell would normally put up, then you're fooling yourself, and you have never watched a single football game.
I think if you want to pivot off of James Conner, you pivot to Wilkins as like a contrarian pick. Same kind of cheap guy, filling in, interesting, going up against a defense that's bad against the run. It could be interesting. Although we know nothing about the Browns because they're an entirely different team this year. Again, this is going to be when we're going to be the most inaccurate, everybody. And listen, we've done all our research. We're ready to go. Don't get me wrong. We just don't know exactly what's going to happen because everyone kept everything under wraps this preseason. So, I just want to say, like, we think that they're bad against the run, but, people are freaking nuts. Now I'm over on Facebook answering these questions here. Start Doyle or Burton?
Ooh, got to go Jack Doyle. We don't know what Andrew Luck is really going to be all about. Mm-hmm. But we do know that when push comes to shove, he leans on Jack Doyle heavily. So screw Eric Ebron. Jack Doyle will be the guy who I bet sees the majority of targets from Andrew Luck in this one, especially if he's even remotely concerned about his shoulder.
This coach loves 2 tight end sets. So there's going to be a lot of Doyle and Ebron on the field, a lot. So you got to embrace that uncertainty. Is Ebron going to steal some touchdowns? Yeah, he will. There is no doubt about that. And if anyone's telling you otherwise, they're lying to you. But in terms of volume and a full point PPR, he's the guy. Now, this is standard. I think it might be Trey Burton. To me, I have them ranked right next to each other. So this is a draw. So if you like Doyle, I'm into it. But I also could see you doing Trey Burton in a standard setting instead of a PPR setting. PPR, this is a no-brainer, though. Doyle is the guy. I think Burton's probably the guy, too. But with Allen Robinson back, I am just a little bit more concerned.
Well, Burton is the guy. But again, here you go, guys. You saw how Burton was with Philadelphia. You haven't seen him in Chicago. Yeah, you haven't seen all of that. So while you might want Trey Burton to be the next Travis Kelce, there's no way you can guarantee that that's going to be the case. and you have to be careful of that.
Except for Burton was one of the only players we did see in the preseason, and he was on the field for like 98% of the snaps with the starting quarterback. So, I would say out of everyone, we know the most about Burton in the new team, but exactly, still, we don't know enough because it's week 1. So I agree with you 100%. Non-PPR, Juju or Crabtree? I'm going Juju on this one.
Agreed. Juju.
I'm worried that Crabtree's not the guy. I have a lot of John Brown in my life. Standard, Wilson or Luck? I'm going Luck on this one. For you, Howard, what do you think?
Yeah.
Unless they're catching passes, we don't need to know if it's PPR.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, please, people.
Well, hey, Nick Foles does.
No, but you know what? Show that you're using your head, people. If you're asking a quarterback question, I don't give a crap if it's PPR or standard because your quarterback's not catching passes. Oh, all right, he's not. He's not.
Early.
Yeah. Oh, we're going to talk about
West Coast people. It's early. I got you.
Yeah, because Marcus Mariota, right? He's going to keep doing that. He's going to keep trying to ping shots off of people's heads so that he can catch it himself and get the extra point.
Anything is possible with Marcus Mariota, Howard. I'm not ruling anything out.
Either way, Luck or Russell Wilson, I got to tell you, I kind of feel like I'm going Russell Wilson here. I know that Denver's defense is good. Their secondary is not what it used to be. And I actually kind of think that Russell Wilson's going to use his legs a lot more. And I do think that he's got Doug Baldwin's playing. Tyler Lockett is out there. And you know what? I don't know. Somebody I know whispered Nick Vannett this week. And I think when somebody whispers Nick Vannett from Fantasy Alarm, I think people listen. Oh, yeah. Big shout out. Way to go, ESPN. Sal Palantonio. Tight end whisperers right here, buddy. Don't try stealing my thunder or stealing my shtick or anything like that, dude. Go find your own, all right? Don't make me have to come after you.
Here's the thing about that. I agree with you on Nick Vannett. I've been on him all preseason. I've written a lot of articles and a lot of videos about how I think he's a sleeper. But I do not like Russell Wilson this week. It's almost 90 degrees in altitude in Denver. Everyone's trying to get back into shape. I don't like anyone on the Seahawks this week. I do think that Denver's corners are a problem, but I think they have some of the best pass rushers in the league. And that offensive line in Seattle is scary. So I don't love him as much. I just think Luck is going to really try to pick apart this Bengals defense, and they're at home. So for me, it's a difference between home and away. I have them very close together in rankings, so don't get me wrong. Again, it's kind of a crapshoot. I think altitude may be one of the biggest home field advantages that we don't talk about, and especially when it's almost 90 degrees and they have not gotten into football shape yet. So, but Wilson is always a good play, though. He's someone that I actually would borderline say is a stud that you would come with the one who brought you, dance with the one who brought you. So I don't know. I'm going back and forth on this. I can see it either way, but I would caution the altitude thing. Breida or Hyde? This is from Michael Hunter on Facebook.
Hyde. I mean, he's the lead running back for Cleveland.
Not playing the Vikings.
He's not playing the Vikings, and he's not playing behind Alfred Morris. He's not playing behind anybody. So Carlos Hyde.
Yeah. Poor Nick Chubb. All right. Derrick Henry or Dion Lewis in PPR settings. This is Selena versus Cena. I would say this is an intriguing question because this is one of the things I'm looking for in week 1. Now, you like Derrick Henry, though. We talked about this earlier. I kind of thought Dion Lewis was more intriguing to me in the preseason and the way they were using him. But in this matchup, such a good matchup against the Dolphins, who just let people run all over them. It is bad weather. Again, this is a rain situation. 90 degrees in Miami is just not something that I personally would want to play in. But I think that means that there might be enough for both of them, which is why this is a tough question.
I do think there might be enough for both of them this week. And I think in a PPR format, Derrick Henry to me, and you know, you guys will see this in my DFS lineups. Derrick Henry for me is in my GPP lineups. He's not in my cash lineups because he does get to be a little boom or bust. Now, I do believe he will boom this week. However, if you're looking for high floor, getting points for receptions, who might be on the, who'll be on the field during those passing downs, who might get dump offs, then, you can go Dion Lewis. I think that, the PPR kind of balances the two of them out a little bit.
100% agree with you. I think that's what makes that question difficult, because they're both going to be involved, and it's just about that PPR action. PPR, Brandon Cooks or Amendola?
Brandon Cooks or Danny Amendola in a PPR?
That's tough.
See,
Oof.
it is tough, but you know what? I'm still going to go with Cooks because
going talent, stud.
I'm going talent. I'm going with a guy who,
okay.
You know, the Rams went after. That Sean McVay said, this guy fits my system. I want to use him. And I think that he's the better long-term play here. You know, Amendola he's fine, but he's just not that guy. He doesn't have a high ceiling. Like, I mean, what's Danny Amendola going to do for you? Give you 6 catches for 52 yards?
You stick with Brandon Cooks here. It's week 1. You don't get cute. The only thing is the game script. Okay, so obviously the game script is more favorable for Danny Amendola because they're going to have to pass to stay with Tennessee Titans, right? And then we've got the Brandon Cooks situation, which I am assuming that the Rams are going to go up early on the Raiders, and this could be just a Todd Gurley love fest. I hope everyone's playing Todd Gurley in every format ever and just loving it. That's my only thing about this but I'm still not going to get cute because it's week 1. Again, this is that situation. I'm a more conservative player in week 1 than a lot of other people. I just don't think this is DFS. If this is season long, you go with your studs. And that's just how I play fantasy football. So
and that's the biggest issue. That's the biggest issue right now. And this isn't like fantasy baseball where you're playing individual matchups on a daily basis. This isn't like DFS where, you know, yeah, you know what? If I'm sitting there and I've got Andy Dalton in this sick matchup against the Colts, you know, am I going to sit, you know, like a stable, strong, good, solid quarterback, like, you know, like Kirk Cousins or something like that?
Russell Wilson, because he's playing Denver.
Russell Wilson, yeah. I mean, no, I'm not doing that. And I think that that's a big thing that everybody needs to understand, is that there's a big difference between setting up DFS lineups and playing in season-long fantasy football. Big difference.
And we love DFS too. It's just that if you're asking us questions, we're assuming that it's for season long unless you tell us it's for DFS. Because also part of DFS is about exposure. It's about multiple lineups. It's about optimization. There's a lot more that goes into it, which is why these questions are typically for season long. So just to let you know, when we're answering these questions, we're answering them believing that you are playing in a season long league. All right. So up next is half point PPR for wide receiver 2. Would you go Jarvis Landry or Marvin Jones?
Half point PPR, you said?
Yeah, I'm still going.
I'll go
Landry.
Marvin Jones.
Okay.
I like Landry.
Very close in this, yeah.
But again, it's Tyrod Taylor. It's a new offense. The two of them, you know, we haven't seen. What's that?
They have a great chemistry. They have the best chemistry. Listen, Gordon was not there. And I don't know. We keep acting like that wasn't a thing that happened. You guys, Josh Gordon was not there. He has not practiced with their new quarterbacks. He is. There is a great chemistry with Jarvis Landry. They love him there. I don't know. I think. I mean, well, listen. I like both these players, and this is why you're asking this question. So again, thank you for the intelligent, well thought out question here. But for me, that's the thing. Do they need much from Marvin Jones to beat the Jets at home in a dome?
Listen, that I don't see that the Lions are like some amazing team here. I really don't. Are we throwing away?
Right next to them, so
what's that?
I have them right next to each other, so it's not like I'm like going crazy here. I just feel like Jarvis Landry in a PPR is just. Well, it's half point though.
It's half point, and Marvin Jones, he's definitely a good, solid, strong threat, and they're going to have to utilize him. Now, I mean, yes, Trumaine Johnson and Morris Claiborne are decent corners, no question about it, but, you know, Tate isn't a deep threat. Galladay can stretch the field, but I'm not relying on Galladay. Marvin Jones, if you look at his numbers last year,
you're right.
What's wrong with Marvin Jones's numbers last year?
No, I'm going to go with you. You know what I am thinking while you're talking, Howard? This is why we do the show together, because I'm always open to like other people's better ideas. This is a better idea, and I'm going to tell you why it is. because it's all the same team. It's the same offensive coordinator. It's the same quarterback. It's Marvin Jones. So many similar players here. So I have a better idea of what that is. You're right. Jarvis Landry, it is a new quarterback. It is a new team. It is a new everything. You're right. If they're that close, I should go with consistency in week 1. Then this is a strategy question, and I guess I didn't even think of it that way. So thanks, Howard.
Well, you're welcome. And listen, you've turned me around on a number of players as well. So right back at you.
You a genius. PPR, Barber or Carson?
I got to go Barber here. I think Saints run defense, not strong. I think the Bucs actually, if you look at 3 of the last 4 games in the Superdome, Bucs won one of them and played the other 2 real close. I think that I think a lot of people are just expecting the Saints to blow out Tampa Bay because Tampa's secondary is all banged up. Tampa Bay did a really good job at shoring up their run defense, and I think that this one could be a little closer than a lot of people think. So I think Barber, I think Tampa Bay, I think Dirk Cutter and Todd Monken, what they want to try and do is they want to try and keep Breeze off the field. They want to keep Kamara off the field. Yeah. If they can get some traction with Peyton Barber, then they're going to do a better job at trying to control the clock. And I think that that's where it is. Not to mention the fact that, Brandon, didn't you just say 5 minutes ago that the Seattle offensive line sucks duties?
Yeah,
maybe not really like that, but yeah, they do.
Pretty much. But I would say I'm going to reiterate something here too. I think it's really important when I'm looking at Chris Carson versus Peyton Barber. Peyton Barber clearly beat out Ronald Jones. Okay, Ronald Jones played and got beat out. Rashad Penny broke his finger and never had a chance to bounce back from the first preseason game where he wasn't Fabu, which, by the way, that happens to rookie running backs, and that's not the end of the world. But Rashad Penny is healthy today, and he is going to play. There's a possibility there's a little bit more of a share than we think. And, again, they're playing at altitude. That offensive line is a problem. Definitely the front 7 for Denver is better than the corners. So I think they're going to throw more. So we agree on that. Breeder, Hyde, PPR. We already said Hyde regardless because we're thinking that Alfred Morris is going to take a lead here. And again, they're playing Minnesota at Minnesota, not the best situation. And then looking good, Howard, from Neil because of that shirt, which I found out that his spirit animal is a turtle, which is on this shirt during the show.
Turtles all over the place here.
Best quarterback wide receiver stack from Andy Seltzer. What do you think?
I'm going Breeze Thomas. I love the tandem. I really do. Mm-hmm. I think that with Brent Grimes out, with Vernon Hargreaves having spent the majority of the preseason nursing a hamstring injury, I think Breeze Thomas is the top one.
Yeah. And I'm going to say for a sleeper combo, I would not be surprised if Sam Bradford DJ or Sam Bradford Larry Fitzgerald wins people $1 million today.
I love that call. I love that call. And I've got Larry Legend in a bunch of my lineups today. Yeah. I love that call. Tell me about Sam Bradford in the beginning of the season. Tell me about a healthy Sam Bradford beginning of the season. You were talking to me about that the other day.
Yeah, delicious. He's delicious. Full point PPR, pick 1. Tariq Cohen, James White, or Matt Breida.
Tariq Cohen, James. All right, so here I'll go James White. I will go the chalky chalk.
Chuck. Yeah, I will
James White.
0.5 PPR Flex, Cooks or Burkhead? I'm going to go Cooks.
Yep, me too.
I think they're going to pass more on Texas than they are going to run. And if you remember, Tom Brady lit them up last season in the air, going over 300 yards. I think he threw 3 touchdowns, I think. I think it's going to be the same way today. I think Gronk is a very chalky play that is fine, by all means.
I've got Gronk, Hogan. They're all in there.
They're all in there. And I think James White's one of those guys. And unfortunately, with the Sony Michel and the Rex Burkhead injuries, we haven't really been able to get a good feel for that. If Jeremy Hill is the guy, you guys, I'm telling you, God love Belichick and how much he hates all of us that play fantasy. I'm telling you. Angela Kwan Madsen asks, thoughts on Josh Gordon this week?
I'm not into it. I'm really not into it.
Whether it's even a little worse.
Yeah, it does actually. Yeah. The weather is like the icing on the cake of this cake is made of duty, and somebody put a little icing on it to disguise it. But I mean, listen, he's missed the majority of the preseason. He's doesn't have that rapport with Tyrod Taylor that whether Landry and Njoku, Callaway already have, and now you're putting crappy weather on top of it.
Tough to like. However,
is that a pencil? Are
Yeah.
you using a pencil?
I'm using a pencil.
Wow.
I'm old school, you guys. I handwrite a lot of things. You should see my
Well,
notes.
I mean, so do I, but I mean, it's all about like stealing pens from hotel rooms for me. But I haven't seen a pen. I haven't seen a pencil since I don't know, maybe high school.
I'm a very weird person where I'm very tech savvy and then also very into like the hand to mind connection thing. So it's very interesting. We got JB Barry said there's only one tight end whisperer. Bender is the tight ended. And then Tyler Nelson, tight end whisperer, helped me stream my way to a championship last year. Believe it's so true. And then we got Andrew asking another question in non PPR leagues. Would you go with? And by the way, I had my coworker. We were talking about this before the show. She was very interested in guys with great names, but also didn't want to suck. And I had her draft these two guys. So this is interesting. In non-PPR leagues, David Njoku or Austin Safarian-Jenkins.
Ooh.
If you know Kim Peel, you know what that is.
I know, right? I'm actually going to go with Safarian-Jenkins here.
Yeah. The Giants, man.
Right? Like Olivier Vernon is out. Mm-hmm. They really haven't shored up that linebacker personnel. I don't even know who the Giants' nickel corner is at this point, right? I don't even think the Giants know who their nickel corner is. I feel like they could be very vulnerable to the tight end here. And Austin Safarian-Jenkins, here's a guy who you and I have been talking about, I'd say for like the past month now, Brandon.
Yeah, I agree. Although I do love David Njoku.
Yes.
The weather, exactly. He has to score a touchdown, which hopefully he will. But yeah, the Giants, man. If you would have just played the tight end who played the Giants all last season, that would be the number 4 tight end in fantasy football last year, just behind Gronk, Ertz, and Kelsey. So there you go. Moncrief or Hearns, half-point PPR.
I'm going to go with Alan Hearns actually here because, I don't.
That's secondary for Carolina. Not good.
Yeah. Like it's James Bradbury who's probably going to be on the outside opposite Hearns the majority of time. But I mean, we're still trying to figure out how Dallas is going to go. And I would rather put my eggs into Alan Hearns' basket than Michael Gallup's just for right now, like just for week 1. And I think that this is where we're probably leaning towards. And I've got Hearns. I think that Bradbury is an okay but not great cover corner here. So I'm with you. Yeah, Carolina secondary.
I think Gallup has way more upside, and I would personally start Gallup over Hearns, but I would start Hearns over Moncrief just because I think that Jacksonville is just a wide receiver by committee situation, and out of everyone there, I like Cole the best, and it's not even close. Andy is accusing Nate of insider trading or trying to get insider info by watching the stream. The fights begin. Goff or Rivers?
Ooh. Now, we were just talking about the Chargers. Who are you going, Goff?
I think Rivers, so we talked about this beforehand. Rivers struggles against Kansas City. Now, Rivers is at home, which is good. But what is home to Los Angeles Chargers? Is it home?
Right. Yeah, exactly.
And then I just feel like Kansas City, I think this could be a really low-scoring game. Like, I'm not quite sure he's going to have to, like, gunsling it or anything. I know everyone loves Patrick Mahomes, but Patrick Mahomes throws a lot of interceptions. Mm-hmm. The Los Angeles Chargers are great at getting interceptions. This is a bad combination for them, so I'm not quite sure he's going to have to go bananas. But, Goff doesn't have to go bananas either. So maybe Rivers, maybe I just convinced myself to do Rivers just in case, but I don't know, man.
It's really, really close. And I'll say this when you're talking about the Chargers, and I dug deep into this. Did you guys know the Chiefs have won the last 8 straight against the Chargers? The best that Phillip Rivers has done in any of those 8 games is 272 yards with 2 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. So it does make me a little bit nervous there. Kareem Hunt has in 2 games against the Chargers last year was for like over 300 yards with 2 touchdowns. So plus another 40-odd yards receiving. So I think that what we're looking at here in this Chargers game is I do think that we are going to see that heavy dose of Kareem Hunt that we saw last year. No Joey Bosa. So that's really going to be an interesting matchup there, Kareem Hunt versus the Chargers. Chargers sit there and, listen, great secondary, phenomenal secondary. So, yeah, they could get those picks, those turnovers here. I'm going to say, you know what? I'm going to say Rivers only because the Kansas City secondary is so bad. And I do like Keenan Allen, and I do like Mike Williams, and I do like Tyrell Williams. But it's super close for me here. Like I'm looking at Phillip Rivers and Keenan Allen in like a couple of lineups, but I don't know, man. I think that we're looking at two quarterbacks who could be very, very similar on the week. But I'll throw the pivot over to Phillip Rivers only because I do think if Kansas City is playing from, if the Chargers are playing from behind, then he will have to throw. I don't see the Rams falling behind the Raiders at all.
Yeah, no, that's the truth. That I agree with. So
that was
very
like
close,
the longest explanation
yeah,
for the shortest answer.
Yeah. Ryan Mack 818, LaShawn McCoy or Alex Collins?
Alex Collins.
Yeah, I think Alex Collins is a huge game. Although I think McCoy got really severely underdrafted. Looks like he's not going to be suspended. He's the only thing they have going in that offense. I do think he's going to get a ton of looks. I think we just pretended the Bills didn't exist this year, and people are going to win, especially DFS money on this, or if you need flyers down the road. I think this is very interesting. And you may want to, if he has a mediocre game this week against the Ravens, which is very likely, I'd trade for LaShawn McCoy and get him cheap.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Definitely. If you can buy low on McCoy right now, 100% agree.
And if he blows it against the Ravens, then I would definitely try to do that even more so. Flex standard non-PPR, Emmanuel Sanders, Josh Gordon, or Kenny Stills?
Oh, that's Sanders.
Yeah.
I love Keenum Sanders, another one that I absolutely love, especially for GPP tournaments and DFS.
Yep. Jamal Williams or Lamar Miller in a half-point PPR?
Lamar Miller.
Huh.
I don't really have an explanation for it. I think they're going to have to try and establish the run against the Patriots. If you look at the Patriots' defense over the last couple of seasons, very slow start, got better as the season went on, but now you're also looking at the fact that Matt Patricia's in Detroit. And Belichick doesn't have a defensive coordinator. Yeah, Belichick's there, but I don't know, man. Does the omniscient Bill Belichick see everything that Matt Patricia saw and helped him with last year? I don't know.
Yeah, they're all about the same category to me because the next question is Royce Freeman or Jamal Williams. I'm going to go Royce Freeman on this one, but I also think Jamal Williams could have a really good game against the Bears this year.
Yeah.
So there is no Aaron Jones. I'm not actually worried about Aaron Jones in general, but I know a lot of people are. So the good news is that we don't need to worry about that. Ty Montgomery, I think, is going to be shifted a little bit more towards the wide receiver side of things, where he should be. But I think that this is intriguing to me. So, but I'm going to go Royce Freeman. Would you go Freeman over Williams in PPR?
100%. I love Royce Freeman.
I also think Royce Freeman has a lot of upside in the PPR format. Thoughts on John Ross? We discussed him. We're into
Love
it.
Love him.
Non-PPR, would you do T.Y. Hilton over Cooks or Stills? To me, it's Hilton and Cooks and Stills.
Yeah. I would definitely do Hilton over Cooks and Stills.
We already said that we like ASJ over Njoku, even in a half-point PPR, any sort of PPR. We're still into that. I think if there's a PPR upside guy, it's Jarvis Landry. I'm just coming back to that. I think that's who he had the most chemistry with in the preseason. I just think, it's a new quarterback, so he's getting to know everybody. He doesn't have any preference, but he does love Njoku in the end zone. So I do understand that, but I think this is interesting. Garoppolo or Luck? Luck. You can't play Garoppolo in Minnesota, can you?
I mean, you can. It just depends on who you're going up against,
You can technically push start, but should you? Minnesota, that stadium is legit home field advantage. And I do like San Francisco as a team this year, and I think it'll be very interesting. But that Vikings defense is like
so good. But yes, Luck over Jimmy G.
And we're all just hoping that Luck is healthy.
Right? Gross neck beard over handsome Jimmy G.
Yeah. I mean, I have Jimmy G at like the bottom of my rankings, basically.
I don't know, I'm at the bottom of my rankings, but I mean, again, it just kind of depends on what the situation is. Like we talked about this Thursday, I was dealing with a whole mess of people being like, should I drop Anthony Miller to pick up Andy Dalton because I drafted Jimmy G and nobody else?
Right.
Why would you do that?
Yeah. Why did you draft only one quarterback that you couldn't play every single week? Here's the thing. This is a strategy thing, and this is how I feel about it. You only draft only one quarterback if it's someone like Aaron Rodgers or Tom Brady or Deshaun Watson, I guess, or someone that you will start every single week. If you are streaming, then you should get two and then play the matchup so that you're not in a situation where you have to drop a Jordan Wilkins who could break out this week against the Bengals and be a starting running back in the NFL. Now, I'm not saying that's going to for sure happen, but if you drop him now, whoops, your loss. Don't do that. That was my point about Matt Ryan, too. Like, my point was, in the leagues where I had to start him, I had to start him, okay? But in the leagues where I had another option, I started someone else. But I was not going to drop someone that I liked to be able. And by the way, if you're in a league, too, where there are no quarterbacks on the waiver wire, you know what league you're in, then you needed to draft it. So anyway, that's just a little mini rant. Moving on. Okay, Lamar Miller or Emmanuel Sanders, full point PPR.
I'm sorry. Say that one more time. My bad.
Lamar Miller or Emmanuel Sanders PPR in a flex. I'm going
Sanders. Oh, jinx! Brandon Marion Lee, you can speak.
Okay, I love it. How do you feel about the Packers D today, though? I feel fine about the Packers D. There's so many good defenses, though. I'm really surprised that would be the one that you would pick, per se. I mean, I think it's fine. They are playing in Lambeau. I think Mitchell Trubisky has improved, but I don't know if Chicago is going to be as lights out as people kind of at first thought they were going to be. I think Matt Nagy is an addition, but I'm not, over the moon about it. But if you can get the Ravens or the Saints or the Vikings or the Titans or the Chargers, the Broncos. I would even maybe take a chance on Seattle just because Case Keenum might mess up too. There are a lot of other Detroit for sure. I don't know, but I feel fine about it. I don't feel great. Feel fine. Thoughts?
Okay. No.
That's it.
Very well done, Brandon.
Oh, thank you, darling. Funchess or Cole in non-PPR?
Ooh, that's an interesting one.
Cole. I like Keelan Cole. I like his work ethic. The team loves him. I think he is going to get some play in this. I do like Funchess, but I do think this is going to be a big Christian McCaffrey, Greg Olsen, little down the field with Dallas.
Yeah, but I worry a little bit about McCaffrey in this one. That offensive line for Carolina, battered and bruised. Like, no Matt Khalil. They've lost somebody else early on. No, I'm not afraid. Well, you know what? I mean, listen, Dallas is, when you've got guys like DeMarcus Lawrence and, Sean Lee can just jump in there and on a blitz, on a linebacker blitz. I don't, I'm not saying that you don't start McCaffrey. I'm just saying that I don't love it. I want to love Funchess, but no, I agree with you that this is not the game to love Funchess. There will be other moments there, but even Greg Olsen, who's limited, or he's been limited and he's dealing with the injuries and whatnot, even if he was out, I still wouldn't be all in on Funchess either. I'm not feeling it this game.
Not feeling it. In a non-PPR, would you take Jamal Williams or Kenyon Drake? I still think they're going to use Drake. I know. I think I'm alone. I'm alone on this Drake island where I'm like, did anyone see him play football last year? At some point, Adam Gase is going to not want to get fired and finally commit to this guy who is
You say that, but look at what Gase's history is. I love it. It's the easiest formula in the world with the Dolphins. You gave Jay Ajayi, 20 touches, you won the game. You gave Kenyon Drake 20 touches, you won the game. When your running back ended up with 13 touches, you lost the game. So what does that tell you? It tells you need to establish the run. I wish they would. I hope they will. I really do. But I feel like if Tennessee really runs roughshod over Miami on the ground, then Tennessee jumps up to even just a small lead, and Gase is one of those guys who just abandons the run like nobody's business here. So
I don't think we talk enough about how frustrating Adam Gase is. I feel like there needs to be a support group because it makes no sense. I'm still going to go Drake over Jamal Williams here, though. Am I crazy?
I don't think – listen, I don't think you're crazy at all. I think the two of them are probably pretty close together. Yeah. in that sense, because listen, even if the Packers want to pass a bunch, maybe Ty Montgomery replaces Jamal Williams a little bit more. So if you're looking at Miami there and you're saying Drake is the guy, and unless they're in short yardage situations, they'll go to Gore, then I'm good with that. I'll side with you on Drake. Absolutely. As you said, you make a great case, you make a solid argument. My decision between the two can definitely be swayed, and I'm going Drake. I love the Drake.
I also think Khalil Mack is about ready to prove why he deserves to be paid. I think that Aaron Rodgers is not pleased that he just got paid and now he needs to face Khalil Mack. That was not how he was preparing his week one Lambeau victory tour.
This is
not how he planned it. No,
we've got inactives here, Brandon. Let me just
let's go through those, please. Yeah,
zip through some inactives here, guys. Starting it off, Bengals Colts. For the Bengals, anybody out big over here? Nobody really. Cody Core, Auden Tate, Mark Walton, those guys are out. For the Colts, Marlon Mack is inactive today.
Yep.
So get your Jordan Wilkins in there. Bucks Saints, on the Bucks side, Ronald Jones inactive, Brent Grimes inactive.
Brent Grimes is inactive?
Brent Grimes is inactive. Hello, Michael Thomas. Nom, 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 nom. Vita Vea is inactive over there. So on the Saints side, PJ Williams is inactive. Will Clapp, but we knew that was coming. Andrews Pete, we knew that was coming. Cameron Meredith, inactive for today.
Whoa.
There you go.
That's been that. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Guys, you can check all of these. Go to fantasyalarm.com/NFL/inactives. And you'll see the full lists here. I'm just kind of highlighting some names.
By the way, that means Traquan Smith is someone you should get in at least one of your GPPs or something like that. Because if Cam Meredith is not there, who, by the way, did kill it in the fourth preseason game, although it was a fourth preseason game, still, Traquan Smith killed it on the other games.
Nobody of any major consequence for the Titans, at least nobody that we didn't already know, we didn't expect. Kalen Ballage inactive for the Dolphins. Devontae Parker, we already knew he was inactive and sucks at football. Vikings 49ers, nobody on the 49ers side that we didn't already expect. No impact skill players. On the Vikings side, same thing. We knew center Pat Elflein would be out. Nobody of any kind of major consequence there. Jacksonville against the Giants. Jaguars side, nobody really that we didn't expect. Rashad Green, he's inactive for them. For the Giants, I said Olivier Vernon, he was going to be out. So we knew that was happening there also. Buffalo against the Ravens. Vontae Davis out for the Bills. Ryan Lewis also out for the Bills in that secondary. RG3 inactive for the Ravens. So if Joey Flacco goes down, guys, hello Lamar Jackson. Interesting. We already knew Hayden Hurst was out. Houston Texans against the Patriots. Sony Michel inactive. Nobody else that we weren't expecting there. On the Texan side, Kiki Kuti, Will Fuller officially inactive. Get yourself some Bruce Ellington, guys. For you want to throw like a GPP dart. Bruce Ellington all of a sudden becomes relevant. Pittsburgh.
So Cootie's out too.
Kiki Kuti.
Sure. Okay, so the Cootie's out. I did. Kiki Kuti, he's out.
Kiki Kuti.
Oh, that's too bad. I love Cooties.
Circle, dot. Now you've got a Kiki Kuti shot. Steelers, Vance McDonald, he is out for today's game, so don't look to him, look to Jesse James. On the Cleveland side, EJ Gaines, we knew he was going to be out from the secondary. Nobody really of any surprise there. And yeah, there you go. Those are the inactives for the early games. Again, guys, you can go to fantasyalarm.com/NFL/inactives. It's under our NFL tools there. You always want to definitely check that out when you're setting your lineups and making sure everything's good.
Heck yes. So now we have 7 minutes, and we're going to actually You guys got a really good idea of how we feel about the slate today. So we're going to just boom, boom, boom through these questions so we can get to as many as humanly possible in 7 minutes. If you have any questions, you can, of course, reach us on Twitter. I'm at Brandon, her FFB. Howard is that Roto Buzz guy. And really, he's the best person at Twitter on the planet. I'm not the best person at Twitter on the planet. I'm just being honest with you. I'm nice. I like you. I just also am really bad at getting back to you. But so here we go. Non-PPR, Josh Gordon or Doug Baldwin?
Doug Baldwin.
We're going to go with Baldwin on this one. Corey Davis or Goodwin, half-point PPR?
I'm sorry, say that one more time.
Corey Davis or Marquise Goodwin, half-point PPR?
I'm going with Goodwin anyway. I don't care, Vikings or not. I'm going Goodwin. I'm not a Corey Davis guy.
Love it. I'm weak at quarterback. I have Jimmy G, Smith, and Trubisky. I've pretty much ruled out Jimmy. Is that wise? I'm going to go with Smith in this one.
Yeah, I think you can go with Smith here. If you're looking for that high floor, just stability. Yeah, good job. I like it.
Okay, good. Mike Williams, Cooper Kupp, or Marquise Goodwin, non-PPR?
Mike Williams, Cooper Kupp, or Marquise Goodwin, non-PPR?
Yeah. It's a little tougher than you think. I think
it is
Goodwin here, but
Yeah, I'm going Goodwin here as well. If it were PPR, I might pivot to Kupp, but
yeah, me too.
I'm going Goodwin.
Yeah. Okay, great. We got Keelan Cole or Chris Thompson, half-point PPR, or DT, Demaryius Thomas.
Oh, DT.
Yeah, let's just do the Keelan Cole or Chris Thompson, though, because I think that's interesting. No one has talked about Chris Thompson since Adrian Peterson got there, but I'm not quite sure Adrian Peterson can still play at even like a remotely high level.
I would probably, just for this first game, especially because of what Chris Thompson said, that he's not going to be 100% until November, I'd probably go with Keelan Cole here, especially in a PPR format. But I do like Chris Thompson overall. And I think Chris Thompson will eventually be the guy you want in Washington because I just don't trust Adrian Peterson.
Yeah. Non-PPR, Connor or Chris Thompson?
Connor or Chris Thompson? I'm going Connor.
Me too. Need 3 in a full point PPR. So this, you might want to write this down. Hilton, Hogan, Baldwin, Josh Gordon, or Crowder. Full point PPR. I think it has to be Hilton and Hogan first of all.
Yep.
And then between Baldwin, Josh Gordon, or Crowder. Thoughts?
I'm gonna go with Baldwin. I'm taking Gordon out of the conversation right now. I do like
Crowder's interesting.
Jamison Crowder, yeah, definitely in a PPR format. But I'm gonna go with Baldwin. I'm gonna go here. I'm gonna go with the better player. Fewer options for Russell Wilson to hit, and you know how much he loves Doug Baldwin.
How could you not? Jamal Williams or James Conner in a full point PPR. Thanks in advance. You're welcome.
I'll go Conner.
Me too. Guys, I think Connor's going to get a lot of work. I really do. Trey Burton over Kyle Rudolph. Am I crazy to risk that one? Standard. Thanks, guys. I don't think you're crazy. My problem with Kyle Rudolph is there's so many weapons there. I'm not quite sure they need him. Probably Rudolph is the safer one, but I have them only 2 apart in my rankings.
I'd probably go with Rudolph here as well. I mean, listen, I have them fairly close, too, but Kirk Cousins loves hitting his tight end. Loves hitting his tight end. And Mike Zimmer makes sure that, whoever his OC is, always make sure that Kyle Rudolph is an active part of that passing attack. So that's where I'm going to go.
PPR, Ingram or Njoku?
Ooh. I'm going to go with Ingram here. I am. I'm going to go Ingram.
Barely. Stills or Funchess, non-PPR? I'd go Stills.
Stills.
Jordan Wilkins or Duke Johnson, full point PPR?
Who are Duke?
Jordan Wilkins.
Oh, I'm going to go Wilkins. Yeah, but I'm going to go Wilkins.
I think Wilkins is a higher
out.
Yeah. Agreed. Is this live from the shed? Of course. Jamal Williams or Drake, non-PPR. We answered that one. Damn you.
Oh, look at that on my TV. Can you see my TV? It's the thief. It's Sal Palantonio, the guy who thinks that he's a tight end whisperer. Get your head out of your ass, Sal Palantonio. I can't even believe he's on my freaking TV right now. Get off the TV, you douche.
All right, would you go Josh Gordon or Adrian Peterson in a full point PPR?
Adrian Peterson.
Would you go in a non-PPR, Connor, Chris Thompson, or Jordan Wilkins?
Connor.
You go Connor. Njoku Ingram, we got that one. Circle of Trust, Alex Collins or Burkhead. It's got to be Collins, you guys. Burkhead, we just don't know. We've already kind of answered that one. Jamal Williams or Carlos Hyde, Howard?
I'd probably go with Hyde here.
Okay. Yeah. I like it. Demaryius Thomas or Jordan Wilkins, half point PPR?
Thomas.
Okay. That one's close for me, though. A lot closer than I think people think.
It's definitely close, but I still like Thomas.
Okay. I like it. Hogan or Tate?
Hogan.
Agreed. Jordan Reed today? Question mark?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah. I mean, it's always about your other options. Would you sit Juju for Emmanuel Sanders due to weather? Full point PPR. I would sit Juju for Sanders regardless. Is that crazy?
In bright sunny weather, I would start Sanders over Juju.
Especially if Ben Roethlisberger's on the road. Maybe I'm crazy town, but that's just how I feel about that. PPR, Pierre Garçon, Randall Cobb, Sterling Shepard, or Derrick Henry. Need 3 who sits. I think it's Sterling Shepard.
Yeah, I kind of do too. I agree.
It's a toss-up between him and Cobb, though, because I think Garçon's still going to be used enough in a PPR that's intriguing to me. Shepard and Cobb, I just don't know about either of them. Saquon or Peyton Barber in standard? Of course, Saquon. Although I do like Peyton Barber this week. Try to get him into your flex. Sitting 1 in a full-point PPR. Barber, Sanders, Cooks, Cobb. Sit Cobb, right?
Yes.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Juju or Cup in full-point PPR?
I think I'd probably go Juju here. Like, it's really close, but I think even with the weather, I think it favors the short passing game, and I'm gonna do that. I still think that Woods and Cooks and Gurley are your top three targets in the passing game and for the Rams.
Yeah, okay. I'm gonna try to shove in a couple more of these, you guys. I'm so sorry. John Ross or Sterling Shepard?
Ross.
James White or Robbie Anderson? Full point PPR.
I'll go White here.
Okay. Tyrell Williams, Quincy Enunwa, or Dede Westbrook. I like these deep leagues. Half point PPR.
Right? Yeah, exactly. Tyrell Williams.
Yeah. Okay. I agree with that. Njoku, Kittle, or Ebron, full point PPR. I'm going Njoku.
Me too.
Right. Victim of both Bell and McKinnon here. I'm so sorry, Michael Hunter. I managed to patch it up with Mixon, Connor, and I have Hyde. Decent patch up or not, PPR. I think that's a great matchup. Yeah. And by the way, you guys, I think Le'Veon Bell is going to look at his paycheck and he's going to be like, you know what, I should come back now. And that's why if you have Le'Veon Bell, you demand a lot on a trade. Sorry. He's coming back. This is just ridiculous. $1 million a week. Give me a break. Okay. Sorry. Last one. Doing Lewis or Andrew or Allen Robinson for a flex.
Deion Lewis or Allen Robinson?
I think I do Allen Robinson.
Yeah. I mean, it's really close there, but I would probably do A-Rob as well.
Gallup or Lockett full point PPR?
Gallup.
Ricky Seals or Ben Watson?
I go Ben Watson here.
I love both of these guys, and I think they should
too.
be in places. I think Ricky Seals could totally get a touchdown this week. Robbie Anderson, Mike Williams, or John Ross?
I would say that if you're in a PPR, if it's a PPR league, then I would say Anderson. If you are in a standard league, I would say Ross.
It is PPR, so let's go with Anderson. Stills, Crabtree, PPR.
I'll go Stills here.
Garçon or John Ross?
Ross.
Great. I hope everyone do it. Kenny Golladay or Adrian Peterson? Full point PPR.
Peterson.
PPR, Jordan Wilkins, Kerryon Johnson, Matt Breida, or Anthony Miller. I'm going Jordan Wilkins on this one. The other ones we just don't know their roles, right?
Correct.
Josh Gordon or Danny Amendola, full point PPR.
I'll take Amendola all day.
Would you go with Kittle or Gesicki?
Ooh, I'd probably go Gesicki.
Tyler Eifert or Austin Seferian-Jenkins?
I'll take Austin Seferian-Jenkins.
Diggs or Hogan?
That's a good one. That's a good one. Oh, shitballs. Oh, this one I can't really decide. This one's a coin flip for me, Brandon.
I know.
I'm just.
What is wrong with you? How do you not have both?
Rip off the Band-Aid and I'm just gonna say Hogan. I'm gonna say Hogan.
Love it. Reed or ASJ?
Oh, Reed.
T.Y. Hilton or Jordan Howard, full point PPR?
Jordan Howard.
Houston or Lions D? Lions. You don't play a defense playing against Tom Brady. Deion Lewis or Adrian Peterson?
Ooh, I'm gonna say Adrian Peterson.
C.J. Anderson or Gilly Gilly?
Ugh. Go ahead, go for Gillisley. If that's if you're in a league or that's your option there, then I'm gonna say go with Gillisley. Hope for that 1 yard, 1 touchdown.
Last question: best defense for the money on DraftKings?
Oh, it's got to be the Ravens. Ravens and Titans are my 2 defenses this week, guys. Ravens and Titans.
And if you, for some reason, are like, oh, I need to kind of shift off of that, I think that the Saints against Ryan Fitzpatrick is delicious. I actually think the Chargers against Patrick Mahomes is delicious. There's some goodies for some turnovers. I like turnovers in my defenses. So, I love you. And then, of course, the Jags. Poor Eli. Poor Eli. He's a target. All right, you guys. Thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate you. We got it here and just 5 over and got to almost all of the questions.
And here you go, guys. Go to fantasyalarm.com/chat because we do have a live chat going on for the next hour over there. I am ridiculously bogged down on Twitter and Facebook, so I'm telling you, if you got to have an answer immediately, go into that live chat over at Fantasy Alarm. You got Dom Murtha, Rick Wolf, Steve Pimental, James Grande. The whole gang is in there right now answering all your questions. You don't want to miss it. And then, of course, guys, if you don't own the playbook right now, get your heads out of your asses. FantasyAlarm.com/getplaybook. $75 for the entire season. Seasonal and DFS. Much love. I love you all. Kick some ass today, win a ton of money, win your seasonal leagues.
Beautiful. Thank you. Bye-bye.